This week's episode, welcome my friends to Journal Entry, and this is Journal of the Scots, or Scott, and thank you so much for joining. This week's episode is really, again, I'm flying high after the Brickworld Chicago. It was so amazing to see so many folks that I engage with on a regular basis online. It was an intense week starting Wednesday, and really for me it ended on Saturday. The show actually, as I'm recording this, is still going on. But for me, it's Father's Day, and so it's time for a family weekend. We have friends that we're going to be hanging out with tonight, and I know I'm missing out on some cool stuff, but that's okay. I've got my fill. I feel like I accomplished exactly what I set out to. And then Sunday, again, that's kind of a wrap-up day. I don't have a mock. So I don't feel like I'm going to be missing much. I know there's awards and different things, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully I didn't get picked for a door prize and then miss out, because that would be a shame. However, again, it's a lot to kind of, I'm just over 30 minutes away, which isn't bad, but that's a lot of back and forth. I think I know the route to the Renaissance Hotel and Convention Center pretty well at this point, but one thing for this episode that I really wanted to do is it's the new attendee perspective. And so, first of all, when you come in, the check-in process isn't too bad. I will say Wednesday was definitely really busy. Thursday, you can pretty much get in without much of a line because it's kind of a trickle pace for Thursday and Friday. Some people come in late on Friday too. Very easy registration process. I volunteered for the registration, which was pretty funny because then I registered people and they're like, hey, I remember you on the registration desk. And that was kind of the point. I wanted to volunteer for things so that I could have fun, meeting people. That was the point, was to meet people, as many people as I could. I'm not the most outgoing person ever. I mean, I'm kind of in between. I kind of go in spurts, but I really feel like every time there was somebody there, I took advantage of it and said hi, gave him my name. Half the time it was really funny because, like, hi, I'm Scott. But then it's like, okay, so who are you? kind of thing. Like, we all like Lego, but other than that, it's really hard to find things in common with people sometimes. So, immediately you go to social media. I'm Journal of the Scots. I go to Hive Streams, but Kelly Brick Click. I do my own channel like we're watching here. So again, for those, if you're brand new to the channel, thanks so much for subscribing. You guys are the best. It was so cool to see you in person. So let's get into the organization. So I came in, did the registering. There's not a lot on Wednesday night. I will say it's kind of people awkwardly kind of hanging out with each other. For those, one thing I noticed is a lot of the lugs kind of have things planned out. Like, you're coming in, the idea is to do your build Wednesday night, Thursday at the very latest. Friday is kind of noon is the deadline, although there was a couple really big setups that, they kind of went to the wire on Friday. So Saturday morning, even a few Saturday morning, we're kind of making some tweaks. But ultimately it's set up for a lot of the lugs to kind of come in, or the individual contributors that have stuff to come in, and it's very focused on building. They do have a Wednesday night mixer, which was really nice, and I will say I hung out with a few people, and you get to meet a good amount of folks. Some folks go out at night. I heard the lobby of the hotel, because people who stay, it makes sense to just kind of mingle around, and people stay up to midnight or 2 a.m. Stuff like standard stuff when you go to conventions, people get sucked into and say hi to people, and talk all hours of the night. Unfortunately, being local actually put me at a disadvantage there, because it didn't really make sense for me to stay, and it really gets exhausting. You're driving there and you don't want to drive back like half in the bag. So I essentially kind of stayed as long as I could, to usually about 10:30 tops, and then I kind of hightailed it out there. So it was a slight disadvantage there, but it was still a lot of fun. Then Thursday's morning is when things really start to kick off. Again, there's a lot of people building. There's sessions. Now, one of the things I didn't expect, this is because I didn't know what to expect, but when you go to normal conventions, right, or like, sort of like these events, normally there's like curated content, right? And you've got like classes and different things. That's what I'm used to in the professional world. Although what people need to understand is that, again, this event is built for the lugs. It's built for the individual contributor, but the individual contributors and the individual lugs are the ones curating all the content. So really, the event is as good as the participants that are in it. The organizers of the event basically just do all the infrastructure piece of it. I think that really struck me. And they did an opening session on Thursday night, which was really cool. It was boring, but then it was cool at the same time and really exciting. It's hard to explain. I think it's because you're there talking and socializing, and these are awkward interactions like all day long with people, like, hey, like, oh, hi, I'm such and such person with this handle, like, oh, hey, it's the Cool Factor, oh, hey, it's, Brick Hive, and like all these different people, and you're like trying to keep track and like remember people's names. So you're tired by the end of the day. And then they had an opening ceremony where they kind of covered the rules, going over kind of the layout of the day, how things were going to go with the public show on Saturday and Sunday. They had a keynote speaker. I forget his name. I think it was Corey something. Real good guy. I think he talked about education, using Lego in education and all the cool use cases. So that was a lot of fun. I think he was a former Lego master, I believe. Then at the very end, which was really exciting, they did the door prize giveaways. So they did a random draw, and they just started giving away sets, and they ranged anywhere from desirable to like high on my list. For example, like the Lion Castle was was the grand prize giveaway, and oh my gosh, and you had to be present to win the awards. So that's something to keep in mind for next year, is that if you're going to go, make sure you're there, because there were so many people that gave up those prizes. And there's there's probably like 800 entrants, and so with 12 gifts, and I'm sure they had like another 10 more, so 24 chances out of 800 to win $100. That's not horrible. It's better than zero. And somebody walked away with a $300 set or $400 set, so that's pretty nice. And man, people were cheering, and like it was pretty exciting. I kind of get the crowd going. After that, it went about a half hour long. So with that long day, I think it was like 9:30 at that point. They did a Lego Master panel, but I was exhausted and just went home at that point. And then came back for a Friday, which at Friday it felt like, man, I'd been there a week. You're now seeing people like multiple times. One thing before we talk about Friday is that, again, I said that I volunteered. So I volunteered at the registration desk for 2 hours, which, boy, that was a lot of time. That was a decent amount of effort as a volunteer. The good thing is that I have experience doing check-ins at different charity events or even other events, corporate events and stuff like that. So all they had to do is kind of orient me to what their system was. And then I was mastered it pretty quickly and had a lot of fun. It was, there was a lot of people coming up to the registration desk with just random questions. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen for a registration desk. I mean, it does happen at charity events too, where people come, they don't know where to go, so they just go to the registration desk. One thing I did do for people that go, make sure you sign up for the app and create a profile, because I was able to, somebody lost their ID, turned it into the registration table, and then I was able to find them in the directory and send them a message through the app. So that was a pretty cool thing, and he was able to get his ID. He didn't know where his ID went, and that probably saved him an extra trip to the DMV to get that ID. So that was kind of cool. So things to know. By the way, the lost and found is at the registration desk. I mean, people were losing their badges. which I should showcase off. This is your pass to the private event. The other thing is it does give you extra behind the scenes, easy access, easy in and out during the public shows. So for the folks with these badges, you're able to go in, where the public, they were holding them until exactly 10 o'clock. So if you have a badge, you were good to go. That was pretty cool. That was worth a couple bucks right there to be, versus being in the crowds. The other piece is that you get these bricks, and I forgot to, you can actually add an extra named brick in here. So I got the new attendee brick, get the Brickworld 2023. I got an extra brick for volunteering, and also for volunteering I got some extra pieces, which was real cool. Love that. That was a lot of fun. Shy Time is my time, another one there I got. He has really cool printed bricks. That was amazing. And then there's a recognized AFOL networking event, because this event is an official part of the Lego it's not sponsored, but it's part of the AFOL community kind of thing. So here's the sticker that you get for this year, Brickworld Chicago. Very cool. Well, Brickworld is actually a company that puts on many events. They just kind of set the structure, and they have many cities. I think they do Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Chicago, a couple others that they do. And then Friday, I feel like we really hit a stride. There was more and more people. It really got busy. The builds, on Thursday, Wednesday night, the tables were empty. Thursday morning, I would say they were about half full, and people were starting to freak out, fight jockeying for space and stuff like that. By Thursday night, it was really popping, and then Friday morning, it was just awesome. I mean, I would say 80 to 90% of the builds were complete by Friday morning, and so I was able to kind of walk in. There was a lot of people doing videos and making a lot of social media outputs, whether it was Instagram, YouTube, whatever, people put their stuff on these days. And that was a lot of fun, because then I felt like it was a great time to just mingle and meet people. I felt like I met just tons and tons of people on Friday, at least a dozen or so. So I should probably give shouts out to different people that I met. I mean, that would make sense. I wonder if I can figure it out in my feed. How many people? Let's see. Well, I will say, so I met Nick and Savannah were both volunteers with me at the registration desk. So shout out to you. I met our Toy World, or Richie. It was great to see him get the Pirates of the Barracuda, or the Barracuda Bay Pirates set. That was amazing. Let's see here. Yeah, so it was Nick, met her. Let's see here. Oh, I hung out quite a bit with Brick Adjuster and No More Brick. I think is it No More Bricks? I should probably know that, huh? I think No More Brick, or Harold. So he's part of the Virginia, or the RVA lug. And it was really, I probably hung out the most with Nick, the Brick Adjuster. He had a nice display. And then we hung out with Shy from Shy Time is My Time. Who else did we? Oh, I did. Oh, shoot. You know what? This is the missing hall. So this week I'm going to showcase all the halls, and that I didn't showcase one of my favorite halls of all, from M&R, the world's smallest Lego store within the Brickworld Chicago. We did the Mandalorian Warrior. This is one I love Mandalorians, and so I think I may already have that figure, but not like this exact poly bag. So that was pretty exciting. Got to hang out with Ryan from M&R Productions and his whole crew. Oh, shout out to ACOB, Fab hung out with him, T-Mog, Hive, Titanium J was Kyle. Who else? Moto ran into. Lego Artistry by Andre. So shout out to Andre. Just so many people. And then Pandemonious, Panda. So John hung out with him for a little while the other night. Yeah, so it's No More Bricks, so make sure to follow No More Bricks. Really nice guys. It was great to hang out with them. They brought the whole family, so it was really good. Who else? Just so many. I feel like I'm gonna be missing so many. Why could I can't forget Macro. Big shout out to Macro. So many folks. It was just it was great to meet in person. I remember there was one of the things that you're there and you hear people online and people have unique voices. Maybe I have my own unique voice. If you could recognize me, I don't know if anybody will ever recognize me. Maybe somebody would be like, Journal of the Scots. That'd be like, it's pretty stupid. Was to see, I remember hearing a very distinct voice and I'm like, cool factor. So I talked with him for a little while. Really nice. It was cool to meet Michael from the Cool Factor. That was pretty neat. Bricking It Up, Brad. Hung out with him for a little while. Man, I'm missing so many people. There's like the whole crew, the ACOB crew. I forget all the names, Sean and Brent and a whole bunch of people. So, yeah, it's just a couple of brickheads. That's what it is. So, sorry, I'm like exhausted from this week, but yeah, it was just so much fun. And then to kind of close things out, I was able to bring my son to the public days. That was a blast. He got his picture with Manny, one of the Lego Masters. He was kind of running around and kind of, there's Lego Masters. It's so cool. And, he's really into anime. He found somebody who had their full collection of anime customs, so he really liked that. Some of the really big this year, one of the things this is not my first time at Brickworld Chicago. It's my first time doing the full experience, and I would say some of the builds were just this year were next level. It feels like Lego is, think of it, it's not growing as fast as pickleball, but it feels like it's changing. And I think it's a good thing because you're starting to see like sponsorships and people getting into these teams and doing some really crazy big things. And I almost wonder if at some point things could go to another level. I mean, people put out so many amazing things. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. I mean, they're all just, there's so much creativity. And what was really interesting is that while there's literally like 1,000 builds at this thing, but there weren't that many repeats, right? So probably the only repeats there were like 501st clones. There was like 6 ways to slice your 501. There's just a lot of clones. But it's not overwhelming, and they were so spread out, you wouldn't have known. It was just so neat to see. So that kind of encourages me that, hey, when I do my mock this next time, which I'm definitely going to do it, that, even if it is somewhat similar to somebody else or whatever, like, not to worry because, it's your build, you're going to get your space, and it's really cool to just go there and have that interaction. And well, it was really neat as I was kind of in the crowd just watching them, because I already saw all the builds, was to see all the kids' reactions. Like, I remember, and they were just some of the simple builds. Like, it'll be like one of the clone temples, for example. I mean, it was a really clean, very nice build, and it was like medium size, so it wasn't anything like crazy. But these kids went and they're like, oh my gosh, it's the Jedi temple, and this is so cool. And these kids, just to see these kids light up was really something amazing. Probably could go over the one thing there is like they give you a printed schedule. Here's all the sponsors for Brickworld Chicago. I think I listed them off before, like Whatnot and Bricks and Minifigs, Brick Loot, Crazy Bricks, bunch of people. And so they have an app. So again, make sure to do the app. Oh, one of the things, and there's a separate video on this. I'm doing my my first set draft because lugs do that all the time. I'm not part of a lug, so this is my first time doing a set draft. They also announced Brickles. These are kind of like giving out kudos. I don't know. Somebody made that up. The whole team of people. Oh, yeah, so it was Corey Samuels that gave the keynote, which was really good. He's a Lego STEM teacher now. Let's see here. Oh, M&R Productions did probably the most exciting thing. Well, there was a lot of exciting things, but among the most exciting was they did the foosball, Lego foosball tournament. It was something else. I mean, there's a lot of craziness, and then I think Beth ended up winning that. Some of the things that I attended like a Bricklink session. They were just kind of talking about what the future roadmap for the Lego integrations with Bricklink. I went to a session around lighting, so lighting your MOCs. So I am lighting up my Darth Vader's castle MOC, so I'm always was interested in kind of what they had to say about that. Lighting is like a whole nother level of Lego. I mean, it can get expensive, or you can kind of do things on the cheap as much as you can. Again, there were a couple other socials. There were like Build Small, Think Big was one. I think they did it twice. And just a lot of other really cool stuff. I mean, people just do some amazing things with this brick that we all love called Lego. So with that, that is it for this episode of Journal Entry. I'm signing out to an exhausting but inspirational week at Brickworld Chicago. So till next time, we'll see you on Journal Entry. Bye for now.